What's up, Karptastic ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode in this PTCGO series. I am very happy to have you here with me on Fun Friday, where we take a look at a fun deck, and today's deck is based around Slowking with the Royal Flash ability. As always, if you want to skip the deck analysis, just click the annotation on the top left of the screen or skip around the 4 or 5 minute mark, and that will take you straight to the battles. So let's take a look at the Royal Flash ability of Slowking. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If heads, move an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon to one of his or her benched Pokemon. Now that is a pretty disruptive ability, and we will try to use it to stall our opponents in attacking, and this will mean that we will need some support Pokemon here besides the Slowking, because this Slowking will not be used for attacking, it will solely be used for the Royal Flash. We run 3 copies of the Slowking and 3 copies of Slowpoke. And the support Pokemon, or the main attackers of this deck, are Leafeon and it skipped Sylveon here, and Sylveon. So we start off with Leafeon. Leafeon has 100 hit points, evolves from Eevee, and has the attack Energy Crush, does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. That is pretty interesting, because with the Slowking we can distribute the energies across my opponent's Pokemon on the bench and put them on Pokemon where the energies are not useful, for example Hoopa EX or Shaymin EX. And then we can hit with Leafeon for an Energy Crush, does 20 times the amount of energy that's on all my opponent's Pokemon that we have distributed across his bench, and we can do tons of damage that way. That's the ideal situation here. Spread out the energies from my opponent with Slowking, and then keep attacking with the Leafeon while my opponent has trouble attacking himself, because we just removed the energies from his active Pokemon with the Slowking, as well as, and he does it again, as well as with his Sylveon here. Sylveon has the Curly Ribbon attack. For a Fairy Energy, you get to do 30 damage, and you get to move an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon to one of his or her benched Pokemon. Generally, you will want to start out with Eevee in the active spot, and then evolve into Sylveon and start hitting with the Curly Ribbon. And as soon as your opponent has enough energies will spread out across his benched Pokemon, you will want to switch into the Leafeon here and go for an Energy Crush. We run 3 Leafeon and 2 Sylveon, and then we run 4 Eevees, of course, to evolve into the Leafeon and the Sylveon. Switching out is done with the Fairy Garden. Each Pokemon that has a Fairy Energy attached to it has no retreat cost. We run 8 Fairy Energies. These Fairy Energies are very useful for the Curly Ribbon and also for the Energy Crush, because the Energy Crush only requires a colorless energy, which is pretty amazing. That means we won't be able to attack with the Slowking, since we only run Fairy Energy. And besides that, we do run 2 Shaymin for setup, not for attacking, just purely for the setup, so we can set up our Pokemon on the bench a little bit more easily. And as you can tell, this is a pretty disruptive deck. That's why we also run 2 red cards to red card my opponent at the start of a game, as well as a Delinquent. When we discard a Stadium in play, your opponent discards 3 cards from his or her hand, or rather you have to discard the Stadium in play, and then your opponent discards 3 cards from his or her hand. And that's why we also run some stadiums like the Fairy Garden, as well as this Parallel City. This Parallel City, its main use will be to get rid of the Shaymins on our bench if we face it our way. If we face it another way, then it will be to reduce the damage from my opponent's Grass, Fire and Water Pokemon by 20. Now the rest in this deck is pretty self-explanatory. The other cards, we have the Computer Search, 1 copy to search our deck, a very powerful ace-pack card. Then 1 copy of Startling Megaphone to get rid of pesky tools like the Fighting Fury Belts and stuff like that, Muscle Bands. Then 2 Super Rods to get back our Eevees and our Leafeons from the discard pile, because they will be knocked out pretty easily. They only have 90 hit points and 100 hit points respectively, which means they won't be able to stay alive long in the active spot in the current format. Then 4 Trainer's Mail for consistency, 4 Ultra Ball for searching out our Shaymin and our Pokemon, 4 VS Seeker also for consistency, 3 Bridget, that's right, 3 of the Bridget And this Bridget will come in handy to set up both the Slowpokes and the Eevees on our bench. And then one Colress for draw support, one Delinquent, already discussed it for disruption, two Lysander. This Lysander, or these Lysanders, are very handy for Lysandering out Pokemon like the Shaymin or like the Hoopa. Ideally a Hoopa, that's very nice. It has a hefty retreat cost. And then we can just keep... my opponent will have to either find a switch or start attaching energies, and the energies that become attached to the Hoopa, we can just move them around. And if my opponent doesn't run a switch, that means the Hoopa is stuck in the active spot forever until we knock it out and have this and are content or happy with how we distributed my opponent's energies by the Slowking, or with the Slowking, or with the curly ribbon here. Then 2 N, 1 Sycamore for draw support, 2 Fairy Garden as discussed earlier, 1 Parallel City, 3 Muscle Bands. These Muscle Bands here are very necessary in this deck because the extra 20 damage you really want it. You're only doing 30 with the curly ribbon, plus 20, that's 50, and you're only doing 20 times the amount of energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. So in the beginning of a game, this attack is really doing nothing much at all, and Muscle Band is really required for these knockouts, for getting them a little bit easier. And finally, 1 Headringer to, well, to stall our opponents, because this Headringer requires our opponent to attach an extra energy to his Pokemon, to his EX Pokemon, before it can attack. And that extra energy will be tough to get when we are moving it around to his benched Pokemon. So ideally I would like to run 2 Headringers in this deck, but I had trouble finding space, and I also only have 1 Headringer in my collection. So that's 2 reasons why there is only 1 Headringer, but I would really love to fit in 2 of them in a deck. And that's going to be it for the deck analysis. If you have any questions, just let me know down below. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more silly deck ideas, for more crazy deck ideas, and for more competitive deck ideas. I think it's time to find ourselves an opponent, so I will see you in the battles. And so our journey begins. We are facing Heart King with a Psychic, Water, Colorless, and a Metal deck. We are waiting for our opponent to load the Pokemon. I am very curious to see how this is going to turn out. This deck typically, well, kinda generates long matchups, a bit of a drawn out matchups, quite tense matchups as well, because of the moving of the energies and stuff like that. So we do start off with an Eevee. We also have a Sylveon in our hand, so there's no real need to search for our deck for a Sylveon, but I think we might do it anyways to thin out our deck a little bit. We have the Sycamore, we have an Ultra Ball. I think I'll go with the Ultra Ball for the Shaymin if possible. We get an N as well. Well, let's go for the evolution anyways at the moment. And here is the Sylveon that was in our deck. Look at that, turn 1 evolution. So for the curly ribbon, we will attach a Muscle Band, and then we will discard this Sylveon probably, and or maybe not. Let's discard the energy and the N. Yeah, let's go for that, and we'll go for the Shaymin. Ideally I want to get a Bridget off of this Shaymin. That's what I'm hoping for, so we can start setting up the Slowpokes and some more Eevees. You always want to have a spare Eevee on your bench, and here is the Bridget. So we will definitely be going for the Bridget. Bridget for Eevee, and Slowpoke, or maybe 2 Slowpokes actually. Yeah, I think I'll go for 2 Slowpokes and 1 Eevee on the bench. That seems really good. Here we go. We are nearly ready to go actually. All we need is Slowkings in the next turn. So we'll go for another Muscle Band. Attach this Muscle Band and end our turn. Depending on how many Pokemon my opponent benches, we might go for the Colress or we might go for the Sycamore. And think my opponent, oh there we go, we see a Keldeo, which is going to be a problem for the Russian and retreat. So we need to find a Pokemon to stack on the energies other than the Keldeo. A Execute would be excellent. If only we could get the Execute back on my opponent's bench. That way, oh, there's the Hoopa. Yeah, the energies will be put on the Hoopa. That is going to be the strategy. Here comes the DCE. We will try to move that DCE next turn with the curly ribbon for sure. This is already looking fun. I am excited here. Hopefully our Slowpokes don't get Lysanered out. That's the only thing I am scared of. But we already have one Lysaner in the discard pile for my opponent. So we'll need to access his... oh, and there's a Jirachi. We could also put it on the Jirachi. So many Pokemon that we could put the DCEs on. Although the Hoopa is the better choice because of its 2 retreat cost instead of the Jirachi, which has only a single retreat cost. But it's easier to knock out, and that's a fact. It is easier to knock out than the Hoopa. And there's the Shaymin, another very good Pokemon for putting the DCEs on. So we are facing a deck that is actually should be a pretty good matchup for us. A pretty easy matchup. There's the Colress. Colress for a lot of cards, so we will go for a Colress this turn as well, for sure. Here we see 10 cards or 10 Pokemon on the bench. 5 on my opponent's side, 5 on my side. Let's see, 10 card Colress. Meanwhile, my opponent battle compresses some cards. I am kind of curious to see what is going to battle compress. I'm not sure. Maybe some energies for the Mega Turbo. This Mega Turbo could be used in combination with the Mega Rayquaza, which is about to come out in a turn after that. Could power it up in a single turn with a DCE and a energy with the Mega Turbo, which is scary because that means it will knock out the Jolteon and we don't have a chance to move it around. Opponent discards and executes, and that was it. Just the execute. Here's the Float Stone on the Keldeo, and wow, that's insane. We are going to get so many cards of this Colress. This is going to be an insane Colress. Goes for another Battle Compressor. I think we'll see some energies now, or maybe not, because I'm not sure why my opponent only discarded one execute. Discards a Sycamore, puts down another Hoopa, and that's going to be a problem, because if we counter the stadium, my opponent could get rid of the... Well, no, it isn't a problem. It doesn't matter if he gets rid of the Hoopa. Gets rid of the Hoopas, unless there is really no Pokemon left to put the energies on. Let's see, we have one useful Pokemon. That's the Keldeo. There we have one, the Aegislash, and my opponent does retreat, but we do get the Lysaner, so I will go with the Lysaner actually. Move that energy away. That's the best choice at the moment. Move it onto the Hoopa. And then the turn after that we'll go to Colress. But as I was saying, this is a problem if we counter the stadium, because that means the Leafeon wouldn't come in handy if my opponent gets rid of the Hoopas on his bench where we stack the energies onto. Because ideally we want to stack energies onto the bench and then bring out the Leafeon. Here is the Rayquaza, attacks for an intensifying burn for 10, and that's okay. Not sure why my opponent decided to do that. Get another Muscle Band. There's no real need for it at the moment. Let's see what we get here. We get the Leafeon. We get another Lysander. We didn't get any Slowkings, but we do have the Sylveon to perform what we need to perform that energy movement, so I think we'll go with that. We could also counter with the Parallel City, which would require my opponent to bring down his bench to 3, but why would we do that? That would mean my opponent could get rid of the Shaymin, of the Jirachi, and of the Hoopas, so I don't think we'll do that. Let's see here, we might go for the Trainer's Mail. Let's see what that gives us. It gives us a VS Seeker. I'll go for the VS Seeker. And then I'll go for an Eevee and discard the Bridget and the... let's see here. The energy. which we can get back with the Super Rod. We'll go for another Eevee. You want to have as many attackers ready as we can, and I will go for the Curly Ribbon, hitting for 10, putting that energy on the other Hoopa. Energy is all over the place here today. We haven't even had a need for the Slowkings yet because of the Curly Ribbon Sylveon. My opponent attaches a... what? Attaches... okay, Metal Energy to the Hoopa. Yeah, he's going to retreat. Okay, he's going to discard the Metal Energies. Or maybe not. I will evolve into another Leafeon. And then... man, we need a Spirit Link or something. I'll actually promote the Jirachi maybe. So we could knock that out. Might as well use the Delinquent while the Hoopa here is stuck in the active spot. Yeah, I think I'll do that. We'll go with the Delinquent. Discard my opponent's 3 cards that he has in his hand. Or forcing him to. And there should be some Pokemon left on my opponent's bench. So he discards the Hoopa. Discards... what else did he discard? I'm not sure. And then we will go for the Curly Ribbon. We will move that energy to the Keldeo with the Float Stone. Just like that, I think we are taking the game into our hands pretty well here. Let's see. We will now promote the Jirachi. Just because we can. We can go for a Listener again the next turn. I'm pretty sure my opponent will rush in and then retreat. No need for the Slowkings as of now. And it's only when our Sylveon gets knocked out that we'll need the Slowkings. So we'll leave them in our deck at the moment. We have used no VS Seekers yet. We'll go for the knockout on the Jirachi. Here is a Slowking, might as well evolve right now. And we'll go for the knockout on the pardon me, on the Jirachi. There it is. Knockout, Curly Ribbon, 450, and taking the first 2 prizes of the game. We are waiting for my opponent to attach some more energies to his Pokemon. Right now there's only 2, so there's no point bringing out the Leafeon. We can just keep chipping away at my opponent's Pokemon. There's a Bronzong, which I will Listener out. I think. Let's see. Let's take a look at this Trainer's Mail. We get a Starling Megaphone. Aha, yes, we will go for it. We'll discard that pesky Floatstone, and I will go for the Lysander. And Lysander around to that Bronzong. Here is the Lysander on the Bronzong. I don't want to see the Bronzong come into play. It's one of those matchups with Bronzongs is pretty bad for this deck because we can't move the energies around that my opponent plays on the bench or starts charging up on the bench with the Bronzong. And my opponent concedes the match. Look at that. We took the win against a Mega Rayquaza deck simply by not even moving that many energies around. We didn't see too much of that. The Sylveon just took the game here basically on its own. We didn't need any other of these Pokemon on our bench. The Sylveon by itself was enough to make my opponent concede. He didn't see a way out. There could have been a way out. I think he should not have conceded. Could have become pretty tense. But we had Sylveons ready, we had Slowkings ready, so let's take a look at the stats. We did 300 damage. We drew into 35 cards. Sylveon MVP against Rayquaza EX. That is amazing. I think we should find ourselves another match and see the deck in action a little bit better maybe, because the energy movements were pretty minimal. There weren't that many energies, so yeah, let's find ourselves another opponent. Our next opponent is Tene Cox. Okay, that sounded, I know that sounded a bit dirty, but yes, Tene COX with the Psychic Coin. Is calling the coin flip, threw his coin really high. There he goes, fell on the ground, and it is Tails. Tenecox, yeah, I said it again. Is going to go first. We start off with an Eevee, that's okay. We get an alright hand, not the best, but I guess it's decent. We are facing a pure Psychic deck here, so this stadium will not come in handy. Or at least this side of the stadium won't come in handy. Not sure what I said there. Will not be. Is that what I said? Sigilyph in the active spot. We could move the energy from the Sigilyph to the Meloetta. No, because of this. My opponent doesn't have any Pokemon on the bench which are good targets to move energies to. That's a bit annoying. So we have the Bridget here. We go with the Bridget. We'll attach a Muscle Band. We will keep the stadium for now, I guess. Yeah, let's go with the Bridget. Let's get these guys going. And we just need to hope my opponent puts down a Pokemon which we can move the energies to. And that's what we need to hope for. I will put down a Shaymin for two cards. We do get a Leafeon which can come in handy. I will discard actually the stadium. I don't see any use for it in this matchup, as well as this Super Rod. And I will go for another Shaymin. Fill up our bench. We have a Leafeon ready to go, which could hit for 60. Let's see here. Might actually go with the Sylveon right now, so that we won't get knocked out by the Sigilyph if it gets a Dimension Value in play. Yeah, I think that's the best option here. And we'll go for a Curly Ribbon, placing that energy onto the Meloetta. It's our best bet. This Meloetta will do 10 plus 20 to us, plus 20 more if we see a Muscle Band. But that would be the most I see this Meloetta doing, except for the Echoed Voice. Could do 50 and then 100 to turn after that. That's a possibility as well. So, I didn't want to get attacked right away here. We see a Bursting Balloon, so we might have to stall our attack for the turn. Oh no! Oh yes, there it is. It does attach a Bursting Balloon. If we get a Lysander, that would be perfect. We don't get a Lysander, we get a Slowking. Maybe we could get a starting Megaphone. Might as well go with the Ultra Ball here and get another Slowking going. There it is. There is our good old friend Slowking. And then we will go with the Sycamore, and hopefully we can hit a startling Megaphone. That's what I'm hoping for at the moment. So we could knock out that Sigilyph, but we do not hit it, which is a bit of a bummer. We could hit it with the Trainer's Mail. We see a red card. Might go for the red card here. Thin out our deck a little bit. And we will end our turn. Yes, we will end our turn. Down goes the Bursting Balloon. I think we could see maybe a Float Stone on the Sigilyph. Retreat into the Mew, and then the Mew could hit us with either the Psychic or this Psychic. Has 2 Psychic attacks on my opponent's Pokemon. But my opponent does need a Dimension Value to be able to use this Psychic. And there is the Lysander for Shaymin, which is okay. We have the stadium with the free retreat. We only need an energy, that's the only thing we need, and there we do get the energy. So we'll go for that, and we'll put down the stadium. Retreat this Shaymin into the Sylveon, and we'll hit for the knockout, taking the first prize of the game. We get another Fairy Energy, excellent. Our opponent has 1, 2, 3 Fairy Energy in play, times 20, that's 60. 60 plus a muscle band is 80, so if only we could see 2 more attachments, that would be perfect. Then we could one hit KO with those Mews. I will move around the energies from the Mew, or I'll try to move them around to the Deoxys. Deoxys is the least of a threat at the moment. It has an overdrive smash, which can hit us for 30 and then 60 the turn after that. Or is it 90? No, 60 more. So for 90 the turn after that, but I think it's one of the better choices here. Or maybe just still to this Meloetta. No, I will move him to the Meloetta actually. I'll do that. I'll move him to the Meloetta because the Echoed Voice needs 3 energies. We will probably get hit by an Echoed Voice, because my opponent has 3 energies attached to the Mew. There is the Echoed Voice, hits for 50. And now is the time where we will start move the energies around. Can we get heads? No, we cannot get heads. Can we get heads here? No, we cannot get heads. Are you kidding me? The Slowkings failed us. The Slowkings failed us. Well, at least we will move 1 energy around. We'll move this energy to the Meloetta, and next turn we should be able to knock out the Mew. Before we do that, I will try and move the energies again. Our Sylveon will go down. There's a Max Elixir, excellent, more energies. Oh no, it fails. And there's a 3rd energy onto the Mew. We'll get hit for 100 damage. Oh no, my opponent heals up. Heals up the Mew. Ah, that's too bad. That will be tough for us to knock out then. We get hit for 100 damage onto the Mew. Oh no. So we do have another Eevee here ready to go. We get a Muscle Band. That will be the knockout then on the Mew. I just want to move those energies around. And yes, and here comes the first energy that gets moved around. We'll move it to the Meloetta. And I will go with the... Oh, the second energy, we get 2 heads here. We'll also move it to the Meloetta. And then we'll go with... should we go with the Super Rod? I think we should. Let's get back an Eevee, Sylveon, and an energy. And that will be it here. This will be a knockout on the Mew for 120. Exactly 120. And we get another Sylveon and another energy. Will our opponent promote the Meloetta? That's the question here. It does not promote the Meloetta, it goes with the Deoxys. We will try and keep stacking up on the Meloetta then. I think that's our best bet. Get hit for a close encounter. I will... pardon me. Wow. I will attach this here. I won't evolve yet. I think I might want to go for a Leafeon. In any case, we will move this energy around if we can. There it is. We will move this energy to the Meloetta. If I were my opponent, I would promote the Meloetta and let it get knocked out, because that would slow us down. Yeah, but right now we'll just go for the knockouts again. Only the Deoxys for 120 damage and take our 4th prize of the game, where we get another Slowpoke. Unfortunately, we cannot put it down. We don't have any bench space left. Our Parallel City is already in the discard pile as well, so we cannot Parallel City away those Shaymins and then counter with our own Fairy Garden. We get hit for a Echoed Voice, that's okay. And oh, I was going to hit for the knockout after trying to move some energies around. But I think my opponent lost complete confidence in his deck. If I were my opponent, I probably would have been with the hands in my hair as well, like, what can I do here? Indeed, I think that was a pretty good showcase of the combination of Sylveon, Slowking and Leafeon against a deck that technically should not have too many troubles with our deck because of the Dimension Valley and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that was a pretty good showcase. We did 390 damage, Leafeon MVP. So we started off with the Sylveon and then switched into the Leafeon, as is the strategy with this deck. That was very nice to see. I am having a lot of fun, so I think I'll go for a final match here. Alright, our final opponent of the day is Bio Prism. Hopefully this is a bit of a good matchup, because between the previous match and this match I have had to scrap a lot of footage, a lot of recording, more than half an hour. Full of bogus matchups and bad luck and whatnot. Where, like, the problem with this deck is if your opponent has bad luck drawing into something, then this deck doesn't work very well, because then you can't move the energy around. So bad luck from your opponent is actually bad luck for you. That's one of the problems. Or if the deck doesn't run any Pokemon which are support Pokemon. So if the deck only runs useful Pokemon, that's also a problem for this deck. We do have a Headringer for the Mew. Overall, very fun deck to play. It's just the PTCGO is being a troll today, giving me bad matchups, or giving me matchups where the opponent concedes, or matchups that are very short and are not worth including. So yeah, and there's that. We will put down the Shaymin, draw into 3 more cards, and see what we can get here. We do get a Sylveon. As well as this, I will go for the Muscle Band. I think that's pretty good. And then we will I don't think we'll get knocked out by the Eevee. We'll go for the Bridget. We'll go for a Eevee and a Slowpoke. Yep, that seems pretty good. Fill up our bench. We'll end our turn. Next turn we can evolve into the Sylveon and the Leafeon, and then we can go for an N and search for that energy in our deck. We should be able to draw into 1 energy. If not, that's pretty bad luck, but hey, today is bad luck day according to the PTCGO. So let's see what my opponents can pull off in his first turn. Oh, it is a Vespiquen Flareon deck. That is going to be pretty interesting. That is going to be pretty interesting. At least that's what I'm thinking. I'm seeing the Flareon. Maybe it's just a pure Flareon deck. And there's a Shaymin. We could move the energies to the Shaymins, but yeah, I think the Shaymin is going to be our only bet to move the energies towards to. There is a Battle Compressor. Battle compressing some Pokemon, because the Flareon has the Vengeance attack. It does 10 more damage for each Pokemon in your discard pile. Our opponent does not need very many Pokemon in his discard pile to knock out our Eevees. It's going to be a pretty tough matchup for us, because our opponent only needs a single energy attachment as well. Oh, what is this? Night March Flareon combination? That is pretty strange. That is pretty strange. Night March Flareon. There's a Muscle Bands on the Shaymin. Yeah, that's really weird. I have never seen a Night March Flareon combination. So we'll put down the Leafeon, the Sylveon, and I will go for the N as suggested in the previous turn. We do get a Slowking, but nothing much else here. Nothing much else indeed. No energy. No way for us to retreat. That was pretty unfortunate. Yeah, very unfortunate. That Lysander, very clutch. And there is a Joltik, which could hit for 60 at the moment. The Mew can also hit for 60 with that attachment. 3 Muscle Bands in play already. There's a lot of muscle bands already, and my opponent passes the turn. So can we get an energy? We cannot get an energy. We could get, so thin out our deck a little bit and discard this Leafeon and get another Slowking from our deck and end our turn again. Maybe I shouldn't have benched this third Slowpoke, because we could have used it for our Shaymin and drawn through our deck. That way, on the lookout for a Fairy Energy. We don't play Switch, so Fairy Energy is the only way for us to retreat. Opponent does decide to attach a DCE to the Shaymin. That's pretty interesting. And there is a Fairy Energy, which I will put onto the... Actually, maybe the Leafeon can hit for a crazy amount of damage at the moment. Yeah, I'm not sure where to put it. I'll put it on a Leafeon. And yeah, I'll just wait till my opponent knocks out his Shaymin, I think. With whatever. I don't want to knock out this Eevee and then get knocked out by whatever my opponent puts in the active spot. So it is, we are just passing the turn around here. That's what we are doing. I'm going to go for the N here, I think. Yeah, let's go for the N and see if we can get some more energies. There's one more energy. Do have a Delinquent to yeah, kind of annoy my opponents at some point. Here is a Trainer's Mail for a Lysander. That's actually pretty good. I'll go for the Lysander. And end my turn again. We could Lysander out. If we get an energy, we could Lysander out the Mew and knock it out. Get the easy 2 prizes. And here is a Flareon, which could knock out our Shaymin with the DCE. So yeah, that might very well be a knockout. No, it isn't. Oh yes, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 7. 7 plus 10, that's 70 plus 20. Muscle bands, yeah, that's just enough. 70 plus 20 plus 20, that's 110. We'll knock out the Shaymin. We will... I'm not sure. I'll probably decide to put the Leafeon, put the Sylveon in the active spots and move that DCE to maybe the Joltik, because my opponent can just pick it up with the Shaymin. Moving all the DCEs to the Joltik would be kind of cool. Or maybe move it to the Mew. We got hit by a Vengeance for 140. My opponent discarded some more Pokemon with more battle compressors. And we will promote the Leafeon, the Sylveon. We will might as well just already do this for funsies and move this to the Mew or the... I'll move it to the Joltik. And we will hit for the Curly Ribbon for 50. Hopefully my opponent does not get another DCE. That would be pretty lucky because my opponent already has 3 DCEs in play. As long as we don't see another DCE, we should be safe. I just want to get another Eevee actually. That's what I want to get at the moment. Opponent goes for the computer search. Does he have a switch in his deck? If he does, that is very, very annoying here. That would be very annoying. Or we could go for the DCE. And there is the final DCE. Yes, indeed. There is the final DCE. Vengeance for 150. We will have to promote the Leafeon. We will have to be careful here. We are for sure going to try and move that DCE to the Joltik. Where is it? Oh, we fail to move the DCE. Are you kidding me? That is pretty bogus. Oh man. We'll have to go for the Eevee. At least so that we have another attack already. Yeah, that was pretty bogus again there. I'm not too happy about that. Just when we needed the Slowkings, they failed us. Hit for 200, get the first prize for ourselves. Why does it always need to fail us whenever we need the DCE? I will license out the Mew whenever we need to move the energy around. I will license out the Mew and knock that out. That's our best bet. We need a Super Rod for sure here. We need a Super Rod. So hopefully we can top deck a Super Rod. Or maybe I will knock out Joltik because my opponent does not have anything else on his bench to attack with. Puts on another Mew. Yeah, I will just knock out the Joltik. Move those DCEs around from the Joltik to somewhere else. We'll promote the Eevee, the DCEs and the Psychic Energies. If we can. We can. So I will move it to this Mew. And move another energy to the Mew. It is Tails. Oh no. And we will hit for, I'll actually go with the Delinquent here. I'll go with the Delinquent. Make my opponent discard 3 cards. Lower his chances of getting another Night Marcher. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's only one more Joltik normally. Discard it. Let's see here. Ultra Ball, and Skyla. Excellent. And then we will put down the Parallel City, make it even harder for my opponent to bench new Night Marches, and we'll go for the Shaymin. Draw into hopefully the Super Rod. There is a Super Rod, yes. Excellent. We'll go for Eevee, and well, let's see here. Should have more energy, so maybe Leafeon. I think that's a pretty good choice. And I will bench another Leafeon. I will keep one Lysander in our hands, so we could potentially use it next turn. So here we go. We bench another Eevee. Did I say bench another Leafeon? I'm jumbling up my words. I've been recording for a very long time here. I will knock out the Joltik, taking our second prize of the game. There is a startling Megaphone. Opponent will go for the Sky Return, which is okay. I am fine with that. I will license out this Mew next turn. Keep those energies in play. Here's a Sky Return. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 energies, so we need a Muscle Band. That's what we need here. Muscle Bands. Or might actually, yeah, we can't knock it out. We can't knock out the Mew here. We need that Muscle Band. We have one Muscle Band in a discard pile. We should be able to get one more. I'll go with the Lysander and risk it. And no, we don't get it. That is pretty unfortunate. That's actually really unfortunate. Let's use this red card on my opponent. Reduce his hand size a little bit. Then we'll attach the energy and we'll go for the Energy Crush. Not knocking out the Mew. Actually, a Muscle Band wasn't enough. That's wait, 20 damage to all of your opponent's Pokemon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure why that did 80. I am not sure. get hit for a Sky Return. Wow. And this can be game here. No, because as last turn as well. Not sure why that didn't do 100. We should be able to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 20 plus a muscle band. Yeah, I'm really not sure why that didn't do what it did or what it should have done. So we will go with the Sycamore. I really want to see that muscle band and test the theory, as well as another Eevee. We need another Eevee. And here is a muscle band. Can we get another Eevee? There's another Eevee. We have an energy. We have a Leafeon, so we could get another attacker going. We will use this red card once more on my opponent, getting rid of those cards in his hand, these DCEs from the Mew and the Shaymin. And then we'll go for the Trainer's Mail, getting that Colress. I think that's our best option right now. And we'll hit for Energy Crush for the knockout. Yes! What? I am totally not sure what happened there last turn. We took the game here against the Night March Flareon variant. Wow! Can you believe it? With the... wow, that is insane. I was not expecting that. We managed to pull off the win. That was a clutch game there. My opponent should not have done a Sky Return. That was very bad on my opponent's end. I think that was a bad decision. He should have gone with the Energy Crush from the Leafeon. I think that's what my opponent should have done. But anyways, so we managed to take the game here against the Night March and Flareon variant. We dealt 590 damage. My opponent dealt 590 damage. Our biggest attack was 200. My opponent's biggest attack was 200. This looks like a mirror match of some sort, like exact mirrors. MVP Leafeon Flareon. So the evolutions are MVPs. Heads flipped 2, tails flipped 3. Not too many coin flips, but those tails that we flipped, they were very crucial. They could have cost us the game, but we managed to pull through. I think this was a very nice way to end today's episode, a very clutch way. I am very happy. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to my channel for more deck ideas like this. I hope you have a truly Karptastic day, and I will be seeing you next time.
Karp, 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 Karp.